So I said, you can get it right away. Remember I talked about having the South Side territory? And everybody didn't respect it. But I wanted to bring respect to the South Side. It seems as though that goes around, doesn't it? That's pride in what we do. That's pride in Advocate South Holland healthcare. But that's only going to go for most people. People have different things that motivate them. Pride in what you do, pride in the South Side area is going to work for some people, but not for everyone. Some people just want to be promoted. And that's where the 2 P's come into place. Performance promotes. The better we perform, the better argument we have for I should be the one who gets promoted. Some people just want to make more money. So again, the better we service our customers, the more outstanding we are, the more comfortable we can feel when it's time to say, hey, it's my turn for the raise. And some veterans, they just want to coast on out. And what better way to coast on out than as a mentor for the newer people coming in? And everyone knows the best way to lead is to lead by example. You said it exactly right. Does anyone listen to the Tom Joyner Morning Show? You remember they had Tavis Smiley on the Tom Joyner Morning Show? And he's no longer there. Now some of you all may have heard that there's a contest going on to see who will replace Tavis. One of the finalists is a friend of mine's wife named Stephanie Robinson. Stephanie Robinson, in her debut on the Tom Joyner Morning Show, did a brilliant job of explaining how certain groups of people will perform better than others or have performed better than others because the playing fields were not leveled. But when you level those playing fields, there's no stopping any group of people. Actually, others can actually outperform or just as well as others if you level those playing fields. But she didn't stop there. She also said we have to take onus upon ourselves. Make ourselves employable. And remember that good morning, how may I help you? Sounds so much better than, what you want? That's the difference. And we give that type of service. Our patients, our friends, our co-workers, our superiors become your walking commercials for the type of service that you give. For instance, one day, I'm leaving out of the center, and a young lady stops me, and she says, hey, can you come here for a second? I said, sure. She says, can you fill out this survey for me? I said, sure, why? She said, because if you fill out this survey for me, and you say some good things about me on the survey, then that helps me on the job. And she was nice, so I said some good things about her, everything truthful. And before I gave it back to her, I asked, is this survey just for you? Or is it for anyone at the center? Oh, she said, no, it's for everyone. I said, give me another. And a lot of you all know that I have a close relationship with Marvin and Dr. Smith. But a lot of people don't know how that relationship was established. Several years ago, my territory, sales territory, only encompassed 35th Street out to 95th Street. From the Lake Michigan over to Western Avenue. That was it. And at this time, we had a symposium downtown for physicians. The symposium consisted of lectures with CME credit, dinner, and tickets to the hottest ticket in town, the Bulls game. And this is when the Bulls were at the height of their success. They were winning championship after championship after championship every year. And everybody won a ticket to the hottest game in town. So therefore, you would guess, we were swamped. We were swamped to the point that we actually were overwhelmed and becoming disorganized. So it looked as though people were not going to have time for dinner and get to the game for the tip-off. And you know, nobody wanted to miss. And now, from North Carolina. So there was a sense of urgency. So now there were doctors from all over the city of Chicago there. So me trying to look out for my physicians, my people, I found us a back way to get around the line, eat first, and get to the game on time. And we almost made it until this one physician stops me and she says, "What about me?" Keeping in mind, my territory stops at 95th Street at the time. I don't know this physician. So I have to think quickly on my feet. The first thing I think is, well, if we start adding more people, then someone else will say, "What about me? What about me?" And then we're back to square one. Then I started thinking, well, I don't want to move. Doing pretty well. So they're never going to move my territory. Sorry, can't help you. And we go on and enjoy the game. Forget totally about the situation. A couple years later, they extend my territory out to Calumet City. So now, I have a new address in my territory. Tell me if you know this address. 9831 Southwestern Avenue, which is Advocate
Beverly Center.
Beverly Center. So I go into Advocate Beverly Center for the first time. They say, internist on the 3rd floor. Go up to the 3rd floor, I meet this physician, and we're going through the presentation. Going through the presentation. It's going well. We're flowing. And in the middle of the presentation, she stops me. And she says, "I know you from somewhere." And I look her in the face, and I honestly don't remember. I said, "No, I don't think so." So I go back to the presentation. And she says, "No, I never forget a face. I know you from somewhere." And I'm trying to build rapport with her, so I look her right in the eye. And I say, "I don't think so." She said, "Did you all have a symposium downtown one time?" I said, "Yes." "You all gave out tickets to the Bulls game?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Yeah." I remember I tried to get you to help me. I said, "I think I need to go to the restroom." And she let me have it. I mean, and that was, of course, Dr. Smith. And she ripped me good. But eventually, she forgave me. We laughed about it. And she actually ended up becoming one of our best clients and one of our closest clients. And often, I would find myself waiting for quite a long period of time for Dr. Smith. And she would come out and say, "Dion, they just wanted to talk." And I noticed they would come out a lot happier than they were when they went in. She had excellent bedside manner. So when that young lady asked me to fill out that survey, who do you think I filled out the second survey for? Dr. Smith. Exactly right. And I talked about that bedside manner. It's just like my mother talked about when I was a little boy. When you're good, you don't have to tell anyone. People will know. And that's something I wrote about in my book. Thank God. He just blessed me to write a self-published book called Leadership the Book, Through the Eyes of a Child. Because there's so many things that we actually learned as children on leadership, but a lot of times we've forgotten or we don't use in our professional lives. And it challenges people to look at that. So immediately I filled out that survey. And when these things start happening, when people are going out their way for you because you're giving such great service, you find yourself having more fun than you've ever had in your life. You're not working. Once you find a job you love, you never work a day in your life. The type of fun that you all had during Nurses Week, when you all had those Academy Awards. Remember Michelle came straight down that red carpet? She had on a blue lab coat and a tiara on her head. And she was sweating so hard, you would thought that lab coat was a Vera Wang gown. That's the type of fun you have every day on your job, when you're winning and we're giving outstanding service. And we mentioned leadership. we mentioned leadership. And we're all leaders these days. Old terms, outdated terms like I'm at the bottom of the totem pole, entry-level position. Those are outdated terms. Corporations want leaders at every position these days because everybody has to set example. Someone has to set example for the others as how things should be done. So we're all leaders. And any good leader should know the 80-20 rule. Because remember, the person makes the position. The position does not make the person. Administrator may be in her title, but Laura Patterson is the leader. Medical director may be her title, but Dr. Bardwell is the leader. And we as leaders in this room should know the 80-20 rule, which is very simple. In any entity, in any organization that you are part of, in any corporation, 80% of the production is going to come from 20% of the people. Even in what we do in sales, we know that 80% of the prescriptions are actually written from 20% of the physicians. Has anyone ever heard of a doctor named Dr. Tabby Yo-Yo? Now ask me what his first name is. What? Wesley. This don't go with that. And evidently, the patients have not heard of him either, because he doesn't have that many. But has anyone ever heard of a doctor named Dr. Lakshmi Emery? Yeah. Dr. Lawrence Okafor? Dr. Daniel Montalvo? Dr. Germa Acefa? Dr. Cornelius Rogers? These are the doctors that fit into that 20 percentile that we're talking about. That's why you see Larry and I try to sneak in the back door anytime we can. Because these doctors are important to us. And sometimes they're elusive and difficult for us to get to. And we realize that a selling job is a job of servitude. It's a very humiliating job. It's a job of humility. We look at ourselves as servants. But some representatives, that don't last too long, sometimes don't buy into that. And one of my partners one time was in the office with a physician. They go through the presentation. At the end of the presentation, he hands the doctor a pen, as we customarily do. But the doctor got indignant. Only one pen? Only one pen? The representative looked around the room, didn't see any patients. He said, well, if you get some more patients in here, then I'll think about getting you some more pens. Wow. Now, evidently, that doctor was in that 80 percentile. But the 80-20 rule actually works in every aspect of life. PTA, clubs, fraternities, and sororities, even the block club, you will see the 80-20 rule in effect. And actually, sometimes it may even work at Advocate as well. That's why we have to realize that 1 degree is the difference between hot water and steam. That 1/100th of a second was the difference between him going home with the medal and going home with nothing at all. Any consistent winner has to find and believe in what they're doing. They have to find and realize what motivates them. And then also, they have fun while doing it. The most important thing at all, never, ever forget the 80-20 rule, because it's actually going to apply here today. 80% of the people in this room may say, David Neville, world-class athletes, Olympians, I'm not going to the Olympics. That has nothing to do with me. I just want to work my job. But 20% of the people will say, hey, I may not be going to the Olympics anytime soon, but I have a chance to be a hero right here on my job every day. There's the 80, and there's the 20. The question is, which one are you? Thank you.